Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 280.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Cashflow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other Cashflow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
All right. Hello, peoples. Happy Mondays to you. Anyway, wanted to kind of jump straight into this one because we've been talking a lot about many different things over on Periscope and Facebook Live. And if you're not there yet, by all means, get over to Periscope. You can just check us out at cashflowdiary.tv. You'll be able to see some of the replays and make sure that you follow. Or if you're on the Facebook, obviously, it's facebook.com/cashflowdiary. But I like interacting with as many of you as humanly possible. So make your way over there. This was a conversation that I was having with a number of people. I think we had over 400 people watching throughout the live stream at the time. So feel free to come and join us, but I wanted to make sure that I shared this with you. Hello to the replay viewers. Make sure you tap the screen, give us those hearts because we always appreciate it. And remember to invite, specifically on Twitter, because this one's going to help a ton of people, even those specifically not on at this moment, but specifically those who are not even interested in real estate investing. And hello to those of you who are joining me via Facebook. Glad to be here. Andrew is already in the house. Welcome, Andrew. How are you? I see Carlos has joined. Jerome is here. Eric is here. Calm Carol is here. Ryan is here. Everybody's flooding on in. Excellent. Feel free as you guys join. Give me your first name, where you're from, and how many units you currently own. Again, first name, where you're from, how many units you currently own. So Memphis is here. Someone from Memphis is here. It was at BLH Live Broadcasting. Excellent. Glad that you guys are joining us. Memphis happens to be a great place for fun, family, food for sure. Actually listening to your audiobook right now. Well, you got me live. You got me live. And just remember, guys, even if you have 0 units, it's 0 at the moment, and that's completely okay by me. It's just 0 at the moment. For those of you joining for the first time, we have a podcast on iTunes, as you can see on the screen. You can see that right there. And feel free to check it out. Cashflow Diary. New episodes come out every Monday and Thursdays at 8. And then for those of you who possibly aren't already connected to us on Periscope, if you want to get some replays, you can go there. They tend to last for about 24 hours at cashflowdiary.tv. And we have a number of people with 5 units and 10 units. And Karen is here in the house. Thank you guys for joining. Again, as you're joining, give me your first name, where you're from, and how many units you currently have. And as I introduce myself as well, Celeste from Memphis, Tennessee, 0 at the moment. Thank you, Celeste. Yes, it's 0 at the moment. We all start out with 0 in most cases. Good. Good evening, Mr. Massey. Jay is completely fine, Celeste, although I totally appreciate the Mr. I totally appreciate that. Thank you guys for the hearts. Please invite and share with friends. Tag if you can, because this one is going to help individuals, not just who want to be a real estate entrepreneur, but those who are well beyond that as well. So, with that being said, Steve O'Devo says, let's go. I believe you. Let me introduce myself really quickly. My name is Jay Massey. You can see a number of different things that we've accomplished there. I get the privilege of helping thousands of people become real estate entrepreneurs. That means we help them start their journey. And most importantly, we also help them in their journey, i.e. get to the point of some level of retirement for them, which I get excited about. Totally giddy all the time. So Rolanda Amos, thank you for inviting followers. If you haven't already, please by all means swipe and invite. For those of you on Periscope, tag if you're on Facebook, because as I said, this one is going to help so many people. Thank you, Andrew, for doing the same. All right. So guys, I've been thinking about a number of things, and one of those things that I think about a lot is like, what does it take to really get business happening? What does it take for me to become that person that I want to be? What do I got to do, etc. Right? And Caesar, thank you for sharing on Twitter. I totally appreciate that. One of the things that I always want to make sure is clear for people is what you are endeavoring to do. It's not that it can't be done. It just takes some time. It takes time for you to grow. It takes time for you to change. It takes time for you to become a bigger, better version of yourself. So hopefully you understand that. Now, right before you like the public high school, the public high school diploma, yes, that's me. So if you are ready for this content, I'm trying to give you time to get your recording device, get something to write on, because I'm telling you, you're going to want to take notes as we go through, right? But make sure if you have time for that, go grab the recording device. If you are ready, make sure, do me a favor, type ready in the chat. Just give me some ready so I can see those scroll all the way through. I want to see some readies. Plus, it'll give me time to drink some water. Excellent. Ready. Yes, Eric is ready to take some screenshots because he knows that's how we do. Excellent, guys. Excellent. Love to see that. Thank you very, very much. Okay, so as the title would suggest, it says you cannot out-earn. Oh, that says out-ear. Out-earn your personal growth. You cannot out-earn your personal growth. And I want to tell you why, and then I'm going to give you some solutions to this whole thing at the end of the day. Yeah, and thank you, Eric. Eric is saying that he loves the new tools. I appreciate that. I'm hoping you guys are appreciating it too. We've made some investment in tools so that we can teach more frequently and in better form for everybody right now. So thank you, Music for My Mom, for sharing on Twitter. Totally appreciate that. And for those of you on Facebook, you're not left out. I haven't gotten to those comments yet. I'm getting there. Just give me a second to teach a little bit here. All right, so you can't out-earn your personal growth. And I'm going to answer the why question in just a second, but I want to show you the stages that most of us, if not all of us, go through, right? You may have seen me do this before, but if not, this is where you're going to want to begin to take notes. Regardless of what business you're in, there are 8 steps to becoming that person that you want to be. There's 8 steps to this process. And the cool thing is that step number 1, all of you have because you're watching. All of you have because you're sharing, you're inviting, you keep showing up. You've got your notepads right now. You have the number 1 thing that's needed. As soon as I find the color that I want to use, I'll start writing it. There we go. Let's try this one. There we go. The number 1 thing you must have is desire. If you don't have that, I can't give it to you. Nobody can give it to you. You must come to the table with desire. So long as you come to the table with desire, everything else is totally possible for you. Okay. So after desire, though, you've got to learn how to properly use and invest your time. This has been that's the number 1 area that most of us begin to make the errors. And this is why your business either does or doesn't build. For example, to give you a quick synopsis or a way to look at, are you using your time correctly? All you need to do is to ask yourself. So create a list. It's going to be 2 lists, right? You're going to make 2 lists. So to find out if you're using your time properly, just ask yourself intellectually right now, hey, what are the top 10 priorities in my life? In my head, what do I believe are the top 10? Whatever I believe are the top 10, write those down. That's one of the lists, okay? That's one list. And just write those down. The second list you're going to make is the top 10 places you use your resources. This is your money, your time, your energy, your emotion. So go look at your calendar, go look at your checkbook. Well, actually, how many of you even still have a checkbook? Go log into online banking, right? Go log in, see where the money went, see where the time went, see where the emotions have gone. And you tell me, do those 2 lists match up? i.e., are you actually spending your money where you say you have, you actually want to see growth and what's important? Are you spending your money on your family? If you said family is one of those, are you spending your time devoted to the charitable causes? If you said that was what you wanted, are you doing those things? And oftentimes there's a huge mismatch there. So like I said, time is totally important. All right, so let's get back to this. All right, so with time, we've got desire, then we've got the time, right? After time, you must begin to build new talent or skills. Because on the other side of these talent or skills is when you finally get into those new relationships. And one of the things that helps your business grow the most are those new relationships. After those, and as those new relationships develop, what happens is that you begin to build cash so that you can do transactions. For example, let me help you understand a little bit. If you've ever purchased a bottle of water from any particular brand, Periscope is struggling tonight. Yeah, we have a bit of the struggle net going on. I can see you guys popping in and popping out. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what to really do other than to keep going, and hopefully on the replay you'll be able to catch it up. But that doesn't mean to stop commenting, etc. Because that'll help me make sure that, you know, for the pieces that you are here, I can give you that good content. So as you're going through the process of putting the cash and building those new relationships, you finally get access to other individuals. And through those other individuals, I know you want to start at cash, but you have to first gain credibility with them, or credit or credibility. So I'm changing it, and I'll let you show what I'm writing here in just a second, so you can see that. So number 5 is credit or credibility, because as you're building those new relationships, what happens is that you put yourself in a position to where you can gain credit and credibility with them, which is exactly what you want. That credit or credibility eventually results in cash, where they're willing to do a buy and hold or a buy and sell transaction, right? A buy and sell. So maybe you're building sprockets. I'm making things up, right? You're building sprockets, but because you've built credit or credibility with them, now they're willing to exchange some of their cash for the services that you provide, for the product that you provide, etc. After that cash happens, step number 7 becomes cash flow. This is typically where you now have an asset who's in systems in place where you can continually sell that asset without you having to do the work on a daily basis. That's one of the most important pieces. And again, one of the reasons I particularly like real estate, right? I particularly like real estate, but also there are other forms of assets, namely chief among them are things like books and knowledge and information today. So it doesn't have to be a physical asset like a sprocket or a piece of real estate, but it can be something as simple as a book. Then on number 8, what happens is you end up in this position of significance, which is where a lot of us want to end up, is where a lot of us want to be in various different ways. These are the individuals who get to make a difference in their communities without regard or concern about their own, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual states, because they have so much abundance. They feel they have so much abundance, they have the ability to give over and over and over again. And a lot of us want to be that. Totally understood. This is the process that you must go through. But I said at the beginning, you cannot out-earn your personal growth. One of the number one things you cannot do. This is the reason why you cannot out-earn your personal growth, because we all, in my opinion, all of us, we all have an addiction to looking good. And you cannot learn and look good at the same time. I'll say that again. You cannot learn and look good at the same time. It's just not possible. Well, why is this important? Because if you look right here, in order to get to any of these levels over here, you must gain new talent and skills. This is where the learning occurs. Right here. And you cannot learn and look good at the same time. So in order to become that entrepreneur that we want to become, we must begin to gain some of the new skills that we may not have right now. You may have some to a small degree, but you don't have enough of them at this exact moment. Therefore, the challenge is, what do I do? People ask me all the time, Jay, how do I get a deal done? Well, getting a deal done isn't overly complicated. Getting you to become the person who can get a deal done, that's a completely different story. Getting you to develop skills in things like, things like confidence. Just becoming a more confident individual, confident in your decisions. Meaning, hey, this is what I think the property is worth. This is what I think your skill sets is worth, especially when you're hiring on team members. This is what I expect from you. Learning skills is what makes the difference. Skills like communication, right? Now, you may think what I'm about to say is not exactly accurate, but I promise you it's 100% true. Myself, I am naturally introverted and shy myself. I've had to learn to be comfortable speaking to individuals. You too, as you become a bigger, better, badder entrepreneur, must learn to become comfortable speaking to more and more individuals. It's one of those skill sets that you've got to develop. It's not optional. You don't get to skip it just because you feel like it. Now, there are a couple more skill sets that I definitely want to share with you, but here for some of you who may have joined recently or just got here late because maybe the internet didn't quite work too friendly for you, I just want to reset and introduce myself again. My name is Jay Massey, CEO of Cashflow Diary. What we do is we help you become a bigger, better, badder real estate entrepreneur. That's like my thing. And we've had the privilege now of doing so for a number of years. I myself have built a portfolio of a lot of units across the United States, including commercial retail, as well as a cell phone tower. In fact, for all of you on a T-Mobile device, thank you for paying your bill. Totally appreciate that. Because these are the things that are possible when you begin to explore on the other side of what is typically called your comfort zone. What is typically called your comfort zone. And if you're willing to stretch out of it, you have a shot at becoming more than the person you currently are right now. One of the questions, in fact, that I get a lot is people ask me, hey, Jay, can I do this? And I have to be very direct and clear with people. No, you can't. The version of the person watching this right now, you can't. If you are willing to upgrade and become you 2.0, you 3.0, you 3.01, whatever version it takes, if you're willing to do that, then yes, you have a shot. All right, you have a shot. You must gain these new skills. So we were talking about confidence. We talked about communication. Another skill set that's required is sales. This may scare the tar out of you. You may like, dude, I don't want to talk to strangers. I don't want to sell anything. I feel like I'm convincing people to do something that they don't want to do. You have all of these preconceived notions. Well, if you want to be in business, you got to get comfortable with the fact of meeting people you don't know, asking them if you can help them, finding out if they have a problem that you can solve. And if so, then offering them your solution. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. You cannot avoid the possibility of sales. It must happen. And was that Roderick just said that everyone is a salesperson? Yes. In fact, one of the best things about sales is realizing that you probably forgot more about sales than you actually think you need to learn. Because if you look at kids, especially my children, you look at kids, they're really good at sales. They get what they want. They don't stop after the first no. They don't stop after the first 10 no's. They just keep going until mommy, daddy, somebody wears down and gives them what they want. Do me a favor. If that's something you've ever experienced, give me one of those high five emojis. Give me one of those high five emojis. If you've seen a kid do this, right? If you've seen a kid go through the process where mom said no, dad said no, but yet they just kept going and they ended up getting what they wanted anyway. Yeah, exactly. Karen's like, yes. I mean, we've all experienced this to some degree because you're just like, dude, kids are good at it. Well, you realize you were a kid at one time? You were actually good at sales. If anything, it's just been trained out of you. It's just been trained out of you. What is that? Yes, Roderick says he says you sell yourself when talking to a girl. Anytime you want a relationship, right? You're good at sales. If you're a mother, okay, so one of the groups of individuals that I like working with a lot are mothers because they always tell me they're not good at sales. They always say it. But I'm like, hey, have you ever managed to get any of your children to go to bed on time? Like ever? Have you ever gotten them to eat vegetables? Have you ever gotten them in the car to go somewhere and actually manage to make it on time, even once? If so, then you're good at sales. We have a lot of skill sets that we forget or don't think suddenly apply once we want to get into business. And that's just not the case. The truth is we're really good at some of these things. And now we have to be good with the intent behind them to actually help other individuals. So some of the other skill sets that are important are things like leadership. Because you probably figured this out, that most businesses aren't just one person. You've got other people who you're working with in order to make your dream come true. You're working with other individuals to make this thing happen. Well, that's called more skill sets. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just something that you must realize is a part of the package. You don't get to skip that. Yes, you say, Jay, well, I want to know how to write another offer. Okay, great. You can write an offer. Teach me the inside tricks to getting financing and raising capital. Okay, awesome. But guess what? It still requires you to be a leader. It still requires you to gain new skill sets. Here's another one that I think here are another two that are important. And you got to hear the difference between these two. There's interpersonal, and then there's intrapersonal skills. Inter, I-N-T-E-R, and intra, I-N-T-R-A. Both of those are important. Here's why. Interpersonal skills is the number one skill set that separates those who invest in things like paper assets in the stock market versus the entrepreneurs who create the stocks that are sold onto the stock market. And you got to think about that. Do you want to buy stocks or do you want to sell stocks? I think you would rather sell them with an idea that you created. Intrapersonal is learning to manage you, those mastering your own emotions types of things. That is a lifelong journey and will continue to be so. But you must put yourself on that train. There's no avoiding it. See, there are times when you'll write the offer and they're going to say no. There are going to be times when you ask the investor to invest and they're going to say no. There are going to be times when you have the deal going and then all of a sudden plan A fails. In fact, one time I saw there was a post on Facebook. It said, when plan A fails, just remember the alphabet has 25 other letters. It made me feel better. It totally made me feel better. So it's just something to think about. Inter and intra personal skills. All of the skill sets matter so that you can get to the goal that you are after. That's what I'm trying to say, is that you don't get to skip any of these things on the way to becoming the real estate entrepreneur that you desire to be, right? You don't get to skip them just because, you feel like you're special in some way, shape, or form. This is part of the process. And if you have this desire for the thing that you want, here's what I said before, right? I said, you cannot learn and look good at the same time. Sorry about that. My allergies are getting to me today. You cannot learn and look good at the same time. It's just not possible. I know you want it to be possible. I want it to be possible. We would all like to skip those stages of awkwardness. It's like trying to skip your teenage years, right? We'd like to skip those, but you can't. It's just not possible. That's not the way the world is set up. You can't skip the struggle. You can't skip the strife. You can't skip the failure events that happen. I mean, just think about it. You ever watched a 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, anyone learning to walk? When they're learning to walk, they don't look really good. Now, because they're 2 and 3 and young, we call it, oh, that's cute, right? But when you're 20, 30, and 40 and you start experiencing failure events, it doesn't feel so cute. No one says, oh, that's cute. It's not fun, but it's part of the process. It's a necessary part of the process. 1, to make sure that you want it. 2, to refine you and remove the impurities that exist inside of you so that they can come out and you can then be quote unquote worthy. You can be made ready for the thing or things that you are pursuing. There's no skipping it. You cannot learn and look good at the same time. It's just not possible. Hopefully, something I've said here has helped you. And if so, do me a favor, type in the comments something that you might have learned, something that you got from just the brief time that we just invested together right now. I would love to know what that might be. I would love to know what that might be. So, and I'm also checking for some comments on the Facebook one now. I can see them. Wow, lots of comments over here, guys. Excellent. So I would love to know what that might be. Something that you have learned from this particular one. Let me see. Ready. I'm new on here. Just interested, says Tracy. DC is in the house. What was number 8? Adina, number 8 was significance. My handwriting, I'm sorry, does get a little crazy at times. I'll put it back up there so you can see it. Pittsburgh is in the house. You're welcome. Hands up. Excellent. Yep. Any good hypnosis course on how to increase in credibility? Andrew, I have no clue about anything as it relates to hypnosis. I am sorry. Totally sorry on that one. Can't help you whatsoever. So, with that being said, do me a favor. And Eric has joined back. Stop worrying about being a newbie. It's the ugly part of the process. Success happy. You are so correct. Everyone is new. For those of you who are concerned about being new, I want you to write this down. I'll write it for you just so that you can see it as well. Let me show you right here. Let me see. I'll write this for you. Personal development. Celeste says personal development is extremely vital to our success as real estate investors. Yes, you did learn that. Thank you. So so write this down, paste it, get a note card, do whatever you got to do, because you've got to understand this. Every master was once a disaster, right? Every master was once a disaster. Think about anything that you're good at today. Everything that you're good at today. You weren't born being good at that thing. You became good over time. And now you don't even think about it. It's called the 4 levels of learning. It's just part of the process. You go through this. And if you said the goal was worth it, you persevered. What else have you guys learned? Someone type in the chat. You type something in the chat so I can see. What else did you learn? Thanks, Karen. So, what it comes down to is if you chose a big enough goal, and that's one way to figure out if you're actually believing or going for something. Like sometimes you quit, not because the cause isn't worthy, but you're asking for too little benefits, and there are just too many ways, because oftentimes you're not watching the game. That's one of the things you learn. Yes, I do know that the NBA Finals is on right now. I was kind of wondering how many people would show up. I'm like, hey, the NBA Finals are on. We'll see what happens. My point, though, is you do have to, if you pick a big enough goal, you'll overcome the obstacle. If you pick a big enough goal. Sometimes you don't pick a big enough goal, so you quit. And then, and there's nothing wrong. There's no such thing as unrealistic goals. I was taught there's no such thing as unrealistic goals, just unrealistic expectations, especially in terms of time. Phone and TV at the same time. Wow. Undivided attention. I can tell you, it is more beneficial for you. I can tell you that you'll make more money watching less NBA games. Just saying. Interesting setup, says Ebony. Late, but here. That's fine. You're here either way it goes. I'm glad you're here. And obviously you guys know, you can always catch the replay at cashflowdiary.tv. For those of you who are on Periscope or not on Periscope, or if you're watching via the web, you have the ability to go to cashflowdiary.tv to make that happen. It has taken me 3 resets to pick a big enough goal. Yeah, that's good. Still with you, Jay. That's good. Sometimes that's the case. The first goal you set, you think it's big, but it's not big enough to keep you excited, to keep you interested, to push through. That's very, very true. Sorry, Jay. I just joined in from Tennessee. Better late than never. Is it Fraser, coach? Better late than never. But again, pick a big enough goal and it can keep you motivated. You just added me on Snapchat. Excellent. If you want to connect with me on Snapchat, it's just at Cashflow Diary. I know for myself, one of the first goals I picked was I get to $10,000 a month. $10,000 a month, that seemed like phenomenally large at the time because it's relative to the size and your experience, right? For some of you, $10,000 a month wouldn't mean anything. For many of you, $10,000 a month would be like, wow, that'd be awesome, right? And for me, that's where I started. It was like $10,000 a month would be phenomenally great. I cannot even possibly wow, who will I be by the time I get there? And interestingly enough, once you set that goal was big enough to get me started, to put me into motion, to begin reading books, to begin consuming information so that I could up my skill sets. As I said before, these 8 steps, you don't get to skip them. You must go through all 8 of them. So for those of you who have just joined recently, I'll reset, we'll recap, and then we'll be done. My name is Jay Massey, CEO of Cashflow Diary. What we do is we help you become a real estate investor. I seriously mean, starting from where you are, we put systems in place, help you learn the right thought processes and everything so that you can become a real estate investor over time, right? I myself have managed to build a portfolio in a number of different states in the United States, commercial as well as cell phone towers. It's been a journey and it's fun and I've learned a lot and I like to share it. Self-employment full-time would be part of the plan for sure. Excellent, Celeste. This production is amazing. Best I've seen on Periscope. Thank you, Ebony. We have invested a lot of time over this past few days figuring out the details of what we've got to do to bring the best experience we possibly can. So totally appreciate that. So let's recap, guys, really fast. So I started at the beginning. I was saying you can't out-earn your personal growth because all of us are on this 8-step path. Desire is step number 1 that you must have. Then we have to learn how to properly allocate and use our time. I suggest very strongly we gain new talents and skills. Okay, phrase coach, hold that question and I'll get it. Okay. I suggest you begin to use that time to gain new talents and skills. With those talents and skills, as you go through that process, you get into new relationships. And then as you're going through those new relationships, you gain credit and credibility with those individuals. Eventually you get to the point to where you can do transactions so that they can give you cash in exchange for a product or a service. Then you're going to develop cash flow from that. And then you get to a point of significance. Here's the reason why. The reason why is because you cannot learn and look good at the same time. And some of the skill sets we talked about were confidence, communication, sales, leadership, interpersonal skills, as well as intrapersonal skills. Because you cannot learn and look good at the same time. That means while you're learning, it's just not going to look good. But that's okay. You can overcome it. So if you have a couple of questions, I saw Fraser, coach, you had something and I missed it. If you want to type it again, I'll be able to catch it. That's one of my favorite Jay quotes. You can't learn and look good at the same time. Yes, it can be your favorite, but it doesn't always feel good to feel it when it happens. It does not always feel good to feel it when it happens. So if you got a question before we wind down here, feel free to pop it in the comments. And for those of you who want to begin your journey, you can see that you can go to cashflowdiary.com/rock solid. Dave Ramsey would kill me, but do you suggest getting a credit card to start my investing? Okay, so let's talk about that, coach. When you say start your investing, are you talking about buying a house on a credit card? When you say start your investing, I'm trying to understand specifically what is it. Yes, I have a question. Go ahead, Roger, just type it in. And I'll hopefully catch them. Sometimes they go by really, really quickly, but I'll do my best to catch them. So make sure you copy your question. That way, if I missed it, you can just paste it real fast. So the cash flow, I'm not sure what the question is. The new agent says, happy Sunday. Thank you for that. I'm popping over to Facebook as well to see what questions you guys might have. Yes, all of the above, your program, buying houses, etc. Got it. What it comes down to, coach, is you've got to find a way to earn a better return on your time. You got to find a way to earn a better return on your time. And oftentimes, for example, student loans have been a way for some people to go to school and learn how to earn a better return on their time. Now, that doesn't work all the time. And if the interest rate you're paying is lower than the interest rate you're receiving, then okay, great. So let me give it to you in a different way. Learning the skill set of wholesaling. is a very, very popular way of getting started. In fact, it's the way I got started. I was earning between $2,000 to $26,000 per property, typically within 72 hours. And we've done hundreds of those transactions. It cost me approximately $20,000, $25,000 to learn how to do that. That $25,000 was 100% borrowed because I didn't have any money. Okay. And well, actually, once you include lodging and travel and all this, it's probably closer to 30,000. But if I've done hundreds of those transactions at $2,000 each, at a minimum of $2,000, the question you have to ask yourself, was that a good investment? I say yes, because I gained a new skill set. If you are using your resources to gain new skill sets, again, Benjamin Franklin said it best, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. So I am very pro doing whatever you got to do to gain that. Okay. That's what I'm very pro, doing whatever you got to do to make that happen. Because at the end of the day, until you provide more value to the marketplace, then you've got a really big problem. So, and you have to ask yourself, is going to a 4-year degree going to do that? I don't necessarily think so. Some of you, it makes sense. Vocational schools make way more sense to me. But learning a specific skill set that has the ability, specifically as it relates to real estate entrepreneurship, that has the ability to put you in a situation to where you out-earn physicians and doctors and anesthesiologists and some of the highest paid people on the planet, just something to think about. Just definitely something to think about. Collier saying on Facebook, I hope there's a replay of this. Andrew says he chose a big enough goal. That's good. Should someone just starting out with no experience just begin networking? What's the first step? Native Son, what I did, there was if you go to cashflowdiary.com or cashflowdiary.tv, I'll put it back up here for a second. If you go to cashflowdiary.tv, there's a replay that I did where I gave the instructions on what you need to do for the beginning. Newbie from San Antonio, Texas, really interested in mentorship. That's Actress Onai. So if you want to talk about the mentorship opportunities that exist, you need to go to cashflowdiary.com/help me please. It's on your screen now. Cashflowdiary.com/help me please. And you'll after you do have to make a $97 deposit. That's 100% refundable and then you and I can sit down and talk about mentorship all you'd like and what's available, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let me see. Right here, let's get back to this. So I don't know if that answered your question. The question is if you're just going to sit around and do nothing with it, then don't use a credit card. Have I sold houses to people who bought them with a credit card? Yes. Did it work out? Yes. If you do nothing, then I don't care whether it's a credit card or cash. Don't spend the money. If you have every intention of following through, kind of like what we said, setting a big enough goal so that you push through those failure events to gain those skill sets, I believe very strongly in entrepreneurship. I believe very strongly in humans and our ability to overcome challenges and deal with the stress that it can take, that it can be to become a new person. It's a transformation, metamorphosis type of thing that's going to happen to you. But that's why Cashflow Diary exists, is to support you. That's why the community exists, to support you through that. Would you suggest starting with a cheap property under $100,000 to get started? Absolutely. If you're going to start with something, you want to, like, if you're going to experience a failure event, I'd rather experience smaller failure events than larger ones, right? So if I can experience a smaller failure event, then I totally want to do that because that's easier to recover from. My first deal was in California, but I quickly moved to Illinois because the price point, the entry point, the experience point was less. With that being said, I often tell people, you do your first deals for experience, not profit. Then later, you get to profit from your experience. So hopefully that helps. Coach, I hope, I'm glad to hear that helped you. Again, one of the best ways for you to get started, Coach, is you can go to cashflowdiary.com/rock solid. Cashflowdiary.com/rock solid. Let's see. I'm hitting refresh, looking for you people on Facebook, seeing if you guys got anything else there. It doesn't look like it. Thanks again for all the invites and the shares, everyone. Divine Star of the Sea. We're actually getting close to the end, so you're going to want to catch the replay, but I'll reset one last time and we'll be done. Guys, thanks for being here. My name is Jay Massey, CEO of Cashflow Diary. What we do is we create real estate entrepreneurs, teaching you the skill sets that you need, from deal finding to capital raising to understanding multifamilies and commercials, etc., so that you can actually, instead of just doing a deal, build a business. That's one of the things I get excited about. And over time, we've been able to work with individuals and actually help them retire. Coach, after we chatted yesterday, you got me thinking and moving forward. That's good, Coach. I was wondering. Yes. Okay. Now I know who I'm talking to. You were the one, you sent me that Facebook message. Excellent. Now I know who I'm talking to. Yes. And Tennessee, by the way, is one of the states that I operate in, and you're in a great state for all of that. So, that's why I'm suggesting my goal, Coach, is not to just get you thinking about it, but get you moving. I am intentionally challenging you to move forward, because that's what I do as a business coach, is move you forward toward the goals that you say you want. Roderick, you're asking questions about the New York market as it relates to like what course or strategy. You're going to have to get really good at two things. If you have the how to do deals with no dollars, that's number one. And you're going to have to get very, very good. There's an ebook inside the membership under the tools and resources section. That's all that says, networking for net wealth. Networking for net wealth. The major reason you're having trouble specifically in the New York area is you're going to need a deeper database than what you currently have, which is eventually going to lead you to three other courses: Lead Machine, the Cashflow 101 training, and then eventually you're going to want to make sure that your online marketing game is tight. And if it is, then great. But that's what you're going to need in order to make it there, because it's very similar to LA. So hopefully all of those things have helped you guys today. I know that right now, my wife is ready to go eat, and I want to go eat with her too. So with that being said, hopefully I'll get to see you again. Obviously, we will continue to broadcast because I enjoy this, and we've made the investment now, so we're kind of stuck with each other. Make sure, if you haven't already, invited and shared and tagged, that you do so, because the more people that we can help, the better. I think for the United States, and dare I say the world, because many of our customers are outside of the United States, Canada, UK, New Zealand, etc. Again, I appreciate you guys being here every time we're live, and I appreciate all of you watching on replays as well. Nonetheless, just in case you got here late, I want to make sure that everybody knows that there is a podcast in iTunes that you can go pick up and listen. Hundreds and hundreds of episodes. CashflowDiaryPodcast.com. You can just go right on over there. New episodes every Monday and Thursday. 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's been fun talking to you guys today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.